Shri Gurubhyo Namaha children, welcome to online learning. Today we are going to discuss about the role of microorganisms in agriculture as well as in environment. Let us discuss about agricultural use. Microorganisms play a very important role in agriculture because the soil microbes, that is, bacteria and fungi, are essential for decomposing organic matter and recycling old plant material. Some soil bacteria and fungi form relationships with plant roots that provide important nutrients like nitrogen or phosphorus. Microbes play an important role by carrying out nitrogen fixation. Example, rhizobium. What do you mean by nitrogen fixation? Nitrogen in its atmospheric form, that is gaseous form, cannot be used by plants. It needs to be converted into nitrogen containing compounds for easy utilization by plants. So nitrogen fixation is a process in which nitrogen in the atmosphere is converted into ammonia or other nitrogenous compounds in the soil, which can be used by plants as well as by animals. As nitrogen is required by all forms of life, including plants and animals, nitrogen fixation is essential. What do you mean by leguminous plants? Leguminous plants are the plants that are able to fix atmospheric nitrogen in the soil. They do this with the help of root nodules. Leguminous plants have bacteria called rhizobium in their roots. This bacteria forms a bead-like structure in the roots of legumes, which are known as root nodules. Leguminous plants have symbiotic association with rhizobium. Rhizobium converts the atmospheric nitrogen into nitrogenous compounds. Let us see the differences between leguminous plants and non-leguminous plants. Leguminous plants are the plants which contains nitrogen fixing root nodules. Examples: peas, beans and soybeans. Non-leguminous plants are the plants that do not have root nodules. Examples: rose, mango, etc. The air we breathe contains 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen and remaining are other trace gases. Plants and animals cannot use nitrogen directly from the atmosphere. To be able to use nitrogen, plants convert atmospheric nitrogen to nitrates, nitrites and ammonia compounds by a process called nitrogen cycle. Now, let us see the definition of nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen cycle is a continuous series of natural processes by which atmospheric nitrogen passes to the soil and then to the organisms, back to the air or soil, involving nitrogen fixation and decay. Nitrogen is the important essential element for all living organisms. Plants cannot utilize atmospheric nitrogen, so it should be converted into utilizable form. The process of converting atmospheric nitrogen into nitrogenous compounds is known as nitrogen fixation. This process can be carried out by lightning and some nitrogen fixing bacteria like Rhizobium, Clostridium and Nostoc. Once nitrogen is converted to nitrogenous compounds, it can be used by plants to produce proteins. When these plants are eaten by animals, the fixed nitrogen is used by them to make proteins and amino acids. After plants and animals die, the decomposers act on the proteins and amino acids to return nitrogen compounds back to the soil. With the help of denitrifying bacteria, the compounds of nitrogen gets converted into gaseous nitrogen, that is atmospheric nitrogen. Let us now discuss about environmental use. Microorganisms are found everywhere in the environment and play a leading role in natural processes. Many microorganisms help to keep the environment clean by acting as decomposers. What are decomposers? Many microorganisms feed upon decaying remains of dead organisms and are called decomposers. Decomposers are the organisms that break down organic matter such as dead animals and plant materials. Some commonly known decomposers are bacteria, fungi, and worms. They play an important role in ecosystem. By digesting dead matter, they put nutrients back into the soil, making them available to producers. They clean the environment and hence they are called as environment cleaners. Microorganisms are also used in water purification, treatment of sewage, cleaning oil spills, and removing the pollutants present in soil and water. In today's class, we have discussed about nitrogen fixation, leguminous plants, differences between leguminous plants and non-leguminous plants, nitrogen cycle and the steps involved in it, and decomposers. Thank you, children.